Alright guys, what's going on? This is part 1 of the Q&A. I want to start this out by saying I had a Nintendo revelation today, and I realized what the title Xerxes actually was all about after playing this game. And you go around saving frozen fairies who got frozen in hot tubs, and they're all pretty sexy. And I think in Japan, sexy's kind of, I think, the same word over there. Some of them sounds the same. So I think they call this sexies, because you're going around saving a bunch of sexy fairies. Anyways, that's a great game too. It combines the elements like Guardian Legend and stuff. You got like shooting levels and platform. But anyways, to the Q&A. Alright. So, first person asked a question was Fake Plastic Ball. Asked, what do I think, whether emulation is friend or foe. I don't believe in emulation. I don't care for it. I've had emulators at times, and that leads me to the other part of my answer, is that there are times when I think people live in certain situations where they can't have huge video game collections, and that then you might only be able to use emulators. But for me, when I had a PSP originally, I cracked it and put a bunch of, put like every system on there. And then I started playing some games, like on the PC Hugo, the PC Engine emulator, and I realized, you know what, I don't want to be playing these, because it's going to ruin collecting them for me. I'd rather collect stuff. So, for me, I think emulation, I mean, you know, it could be your friend or your foe. So if some people can only use emulation to play games, then obviously that's what they're going to do. So, but for me, I don't care for it. To me, it probably is somewhat of an enemy to what I believe in, collecting things, collecting games. So I don't care for it. I don't use emulation at all. The biggest thing I hate about emulation is just the fact that I can cheat so easily. I could put F1 as a turbo and speed through 250% faster than normal speed or whatever, 300 times faster or whatever, and just fly through an RPG and not really experience it. Not have those times in between to think about things. So I don't care for emulation. Okay. Thank you. Fake Plastic Ball. Okay, starsoilder asks my favorite NES and TurboGrafx games ever played, and then the worst ever played or tried. Alright, for Nintendo, like I've said a million times, I don't have a favorite or my favorite ever played. So I'm going to say one of my favorite games that I'm playing, and that, you know, I love this game, is Life Force. I play it a lot. Sometimes I just pop it in. It's known around the world as Salamander. The game's got over 18 versions. There's even PSP versions that are just amazing. The game keeps getting redone every year. It's got a huge fan base. I love Salamander, aka Life Force, for the NES. It's one of the best I've ever played. TurboGrafx 16, Ninja Spirit. I even commented to myself when I was playing that game this summer. I was just amazed. My jaw was dropping when I started playing. Once I got to the last level and I had to jump down the pit with all the ninjas, I mean, I sat there for 2 hours figuring out how to get down that pit. And I actually had fun doing it. So I really had fun playing Ninja Spirit for the TurboGrafx 16. Now, the worst games I've ever played, when I was a kid, I hated Defender of the Crown. I like it game now, but I hated it. Anyways, I got that one day for getting good grades or something on my report card. I got a game, and we went to Grandpa Pigeon's, and all they had were those two games there, Defender of the Crown and another one. Well, I bought the Defender of the Crown, I did not like it, so I returned it, and I got the other game, which was even worse, Silent Scope. I hated that game. It ruined my childhood. I never got any good grades after that because I didn't even want video games. I mean, there were other video games I played, but Silent Scope was terrible. I hated that game when I was a kid. I still hate it today. I will never play it again, probably ever. I didn't even like Top Gun, for that matter. but we all played that because everybody had a copy. But so the worst game I ever played on the Nintendo 8-bit is that one. Silent Scope. There's a submarine going out shooting nothing. Ugh, I hate games without power-ups like that. Like, for many other reasons. Okay. As far as TurboGrafx, I haven't played any bad TurboGrafx games. I haven't played any of the sports games, but then again, I mean, I just haven't played any bad TurboGrafx games, really. Ballistic looks pretty bad, but other than that, I haven't played it, so I can't really say anything, so I really haven't played any bad TurboGrafx games. Thank you, Star Soldier. Let's see how much time we got here. Alright, glockgopop asked me how many NES games have I beat. I thought about that for a while, and I think I want to say I've probably beat 150 games easily. Somewhere between there and 200. A lot of the games I played, some of them I haven't beat. Some of them, you know, obviously are really hard to beat. But, music up. I played 150 to 200. I continuously have an NES game in my system, and I play NES all the time. So, you know, I beat a few games a month now. I mean, consistently. So with that being said, you know, I've probably beaten them. But that's only in the last few years I've been playing games like that on my NES again, so I mean, I'm beating more now, but in my life, I'd say total 150, somewhere around there, or more. So, and you know, eventually I'll beat a lot more. So, that's thank you, glockgopop. All right, so Bluetonic asks, what are some of the games on any system that I think are underrated, and then which ones I think are overrated? The underrated part's kind of hard to say, but I can definitely tell you what I think. Games that are overrated are any new game that comes out on any new system. And when I say that, I mean any new game that gets airtime on the television, and cable networks, on TV. I think games that are advertised are way blown out of proportion, and that's probably the only thing I really feel that's overrated right now, like in the video game world. When I see these commercials for things, and I know how commercials work, so it's just obvious that, you know, they're blowing up these games, and they're not that great. Games that come out right now are not worth $59. They're not. And that's one of the reasons why I really don't get into the newer stuff. I have a PS3, but I've only played 3 games on it, and I'm playing old Final Fantasy games from PS1 on it. At the moment, I only bought that for Final Fantasy 13. So for me, I feel that any new games are way too overrated, and, you know, I will not buy a new game on a new system unless it's on sale for like $20, $30. I'll pay full price for Final Fantasy when it comes out, but there's very few games that I'm gonna buy for a new console that is full price. I'm just not gonna do it. I think they're all overrated. Underrated games, you know, there's a lot of underrated games I played in the years, and well, I guess when I want to say underrated, I kind of tie that into what's going on now. Games that don't get press, like I mean, I liked Fairy Tale Fights kind of for what it was. I liked the graphics, I liked the cute graphics and stuff, but I mean, the game really was pretty crappy. Monotonous, there's not a lot going on. I played it just to get the achievements, and that was it. But you know, that game got no popularity, no publicity at all. It was kind of an underrated game. People would bash it, and it got so much negative talk that a lot of people just didn't buy it. So I believe that there are good games out there, and they don't get a lot of publicity, and so I think those games fall under like what I think are underrated games.